Welcome to the Sports Betting Preview Show, a pregame.com podcast. This is segment 1 of 4. We're going to take a look at a big game preview for Saturday in the NBA. I want to tell you, if you're listening to this on iTunes, we're doing this in chronological backwards order. We're doing the Saturday game first. This way, if you're listening later in the week and you get to a game on Friday, you don't want to listen, you can stop listening. But we're going to do this one first. It's going to be an NBA game. San Antonio at Denver. We are taping on Wednesday, so we don't have official Las Vegas lines, but as we do in that case, Vegas Runner will tell you what he thinks the line's going to be, and I'll tell you what I think the line's going to be. And I am joined with my partner in crime, Vegas Runner. VR, Saturday night, San Antonio, Denver.
Great game.
What do you have to say?
What makes this so difficult to create a number is that both teams have two good games before that.
Right.
I mean, you got San Antonio playing at Phoenix tonight, then they play Memphis at home, and then you got Denver playing at Oklahoma City, and then playing home against the Lakers. So a lot can happen to make this game very meaningful based on records. So, it's a little difficult, but according to my true line based on power ratings, I made Denver a 1.5 to 2 point favorite, and I set the total at 204. I don't know how close you came to that with the line, but that's just based on my power rating alone.
Well, there's no question that the San Antonio stock has risen in the last, in the last 10 days. And Tony Parker's back in the lineup now. He came back last night. I have it at 3.5.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if it goes higher.
Denver, the stock has dropped a little bit with Denver. The last month they haven't played like they were playing earlier in the season. But this team is still sitting right now. There's 4 teams fighting for the number 2 spot in the West. And right now, Utah has a 1-game lead. They're sitting at 51 wins, and 3 other teams are sitting at 50 wins. Next Wednesday is the final day of the regular season, so every game is important with these teams trying to get that number 2 seed.
And Denver being 32-6 at home, I could see why you shaded it higher, and I agree with you. I'm hoping that it comes out high, so I could possibly back San Antonio on this spot. But it's a tough game. I know you have a free pick on this, so I'm interested to pick your brain.
I'm going to make a free pick on this game. Now, obviously, part of the reason that Denver hasn't been playing as well, they're distracted. A lot of people are saying they're distracted. Coach Carl with his illness and everything. Yesterday, again, we're taping on Wednesday. The interim coach that's handling things while till Carl returns is Dantley. He missed yesterday's practice for kidney stones.
Right.
So now if they could have any more disarray, It's a problem. But I think this team is going to be okay. I like them at home. It is tough making a pick, not knowing the outcome of the Laker game. The Laker game's the key game for me.
Because the perception is going to be huge,
and that's going to dictate. That's going to dictate the line.
Exactly.
If Denver goes, takes care of business and beats the Lakers,
you'll get that higher number, like you said.
Higher number.
If the Lakers crush them, I think it might be lower, closer to what I have.
But what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the head-to-head meetings between these two teams this year. They've played 3 times so far. The first 2 meetings, Denver just annihilated the Spurs. In the third meeting, the Spurs came back and got the revenge. Now, I looked deeper, and I'm a situational guy. And what I saw in that third meeting when Denver lost to them is Denver was coming off a huge game. The game before, they had just beaten Dallas 127-91. And that's when Dallas was hot. When Dallas had that big streak. And this is a situation that I think the Spurs caught Denver at the right time. Off a very big win. Denver had already laid them twice at San Antonio. I think they caught them feeling a little cocky and looking past the Spurs, and the Spurs sent a message. I think it's going to be a different situation on Saturday night. It's a huge game. It's a Saturday night, so it'll be a wild crowd at Denver. And the key here is the Spurs are playing their 4th game in 5 nights.
Not good for a veteran older team.
An older team, and they played the night before, and they got to go into the altitude, and that's a scenario that people have backed since I was a pup, okay?
You might have changed my entire
way back.
Look at this game.
So I'm going to make my free pick for you guys on Denver. Free picks, VR hit his last week. I hit mine. VR, your free picks now 19-8 on the run. My free picks 22-10. You're going to have a free pick in another video a little later segment. Actually, I think rumor has it you're going to give us a little golf.
Yep, I bumped into a very sharp better I know, and I'm going to pass that information along to our viewers.
Good stuff. That's what I'm looking at in this Denver-San Antonio game. What do you see in this game?
Now, when you put it that way, it makes sense. And if Denver's right there with Utah, it's going to make this even a more meaningful game for them. So I could see that crowd being extremely excited. I also like the fact that you may get some line value if they have trouble against the Lakers. More importantly, Spurs have been a covering machine. I mean, they've been on fire, dude. With or without Parker, this team's going into the playoffs firing on all cylinders. I mean, they're not pretty. They've never won pretty. You know, they're not as ugly as the Detroit Pistons, back in the day. But they don't win pretty. They win with defense. They win with great perimeter defense. No one hits threes against this team. That's the key. But I think Denver doesn't need to hit from the outside against them. So I do like your pick now. The more I look at the situation, I was looking basic, power ratings. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really breaking down the situation with that much detail. I knew this was going to be your game for a free pick, so I wanted to see what you had. And to tell you the truth, you really convinced me that this is a very bad spot for the Spurs.
Where I think this becomes even better for Denver is if Denver loses to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because then
stock will be even lower.
Right. The stock is going to, and you're going to have what I like to call the ABC factor, because everybody's going to remember last Sunday they saw San Antonio on national TV Easter Sunday.
Take care of business.
They blew the doors off the Lakers
by 19.
So if San Antonio could beat the Lakers and the Lakers turn around and beat Denver, everybody's going to want San Antonio as the live dog, and that's when I'll be looking.
What else I'm starting to like the more I think about this. It's a tough road trip for San Antonio because they've been on the road. They got to go home. Then they, just for one day, then they go on the road again. Right. That's tough, man. I'm starting to really like your Denver pick.
It's, situational wise. Now, I'll be honest. I went against the Spurs last night because it was a classic sandwich situation.
Yeah.
They were coming off the Lakers on Sunday, and they got Phoenix up, tonight.
Uh-huh.
They played the Kings last night. That was a spot where San Antonio should have, put it on cruise control or, laid an egg, but they didn't. But, again, that's...
it was by a layup. I mean, Sack hits a three-pointer, they cover. Right. It wasn't a blowout win, so, I mean, it's not like you were that off with the handicap.
But when you turn the ticket in and it ain't a winner,
it ain't a winner. Close doesn't count.
This ain't
horseshoes or hand grenades, right?
Well, that's so you've got my official free pick. We're going to take the Denver Nuggets Saturday night. I'm looking for a line to be in the vicinity of 3 to 4 points.
Stamp of approval from VR.
Stamp of approval from VR, and maybe you can put a couple dollars on.
Absolutely.
Go out and get some new underwear that you.
New boxers or briefs.
All right. This has been segment 1. And if you go to pregame.tv, see all of our videos, you can actually make your own prediction on this game. If you are correct, get the score correct, we'll give you $100 in pregame dollars to use however you want. And don't forget, you can download and listen all of our podcasts by going to iTunes. Just search for pregame.com and you'll find all of our podcast. He's Vegas Runner. I'm Marco D'Angelo. This has been segment 1. We'll be back segment 2. We're going to look at a big baseball series this weekend. Yankees at Tampa Bay.